Hello, Global Talk.
What about you, sir? What are your tips for staying young?
Stay in touch with Steve. Steve 아저씨, the
no,
hockey player.
안 돼요.
That's what I can think of.
You were listening, I see.
I was.
Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you.
Let's get started with a quiz question, shall we?
Quiz for today is this. The rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system and its related effects are known as... Number 1, global burning. Number 2, global boiling. Number 3, global warming.
One more time, please.
The rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system and its related effects are known as... Number 1, global burning. Number 2, global boiling. Number 3, global warming.
If you know the answer, use our Bondi board or Kakao Talk or text in on your cell phone, pounder sharp 1045 for 50 or 101, depending on the length of your text. To give away, we are giving away an iRiver Chisor's Halgyungi.
You know, I was thinking the answer today could actually eventually lead to the both of the rest.
Yeah, potentially all possible answers if we're not careful.
Eventually, right?
Today, we talk about the world energy market. Now, The Economist, that's a very popular magazine out of London, they just came out with a special report arguing that the Trump presidency in the United States is not going to be as bad for global warming as people had anticipated.
One of the biggest fear about the Trump presidency when he was elected was about the Paris Agreement that was reached at the end of last year in Paris regarding how the world is going to be cooperating regarding the global warming and climate change. And the expectation was that because he was promising during his campaign to get rid of U.S. current position, Obama administration's position, to lead this efforts of cooperation and pull the United States out of the overall cooperation scheme. So there was a big concern. But now, a few days ago, he had an interview with the New York Times editorial board, and there he said he's going to have an open-mindedness about this. So one of the issues people are expecting that he's going to move away from his campaign pledges might be his position on climate change cooperation. So those observations are being shared. And the Economist magazine, as you mentioned, a few days ago just came out saying, yes, no matter what he says, what he tries, actually, he may not be in a position to go ahead with his campaign promise because the overall market situation is moving ahead, meaning that if he wants to reverse U.S. position and try to make the coal miners, right? Coal miners are big players. They were big players during the U.S. presidential campaign recently. They were very angry because they thought they lost their jobs because of Obama administration's policy to close down coal-powered power plants and so on. But now they're saying even if Trump tries to fulfill his campaign pledges, the rest of the economy is already moving away from coal and oil-based industries. So it may be either meaningless if he tries, or it will be almost nearly impossible for him to reverse the course. Excuse me. They're basically saying the age for the coal and oil is actually getting closer for ending. Not completely ending, but at least the peak is near.
I see.
And the world is moving away. No matter who tries to move back or whatever, the world is moving away from the age of coal and oil.
So I guess that means then that the traditional dependency on fossil fuels may be coming to a close. And therefore, would that mean that, well, if we look at transportation, for example, that electric cars may be here to stay? This is the future of the automobile industry, maybe.
In Korea, at least, we see, growing number of this EVs, electric vehicles here, and they are powered largely by batteries and so on. So the Economist magazine is saying, yes, indeed, that will be what we will be seeing, and we call it decarbonizing vehicles.
Okay.
Like moving away from the fossil fuels and stuff. And the thing is, however, that is a direction we are moving forward. But however, there are remaining challenges. And
Well, one of which you have to set up power stations. You have to have locations for these cars to charge.
charging is a big problem. Not only the availability of charging stations, but also time for charging.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. The length of the battery life.
Right.
So if you think about your typical gas stations now, if those are replaced by charging stations,
Right.
but the battery for the car lasts 1/20th the time that a tank of gas would last, the lineups at charging stations,
Right.
if there aren't enough, would be, well, they'd be quite long, I would estimate.
Very important point. However, though, technology is making progress on this part, and it's getting improved and everything. The charging time is getting shorter and shorter. But one point, as you may point out, is shortening charging time and then making more stations available is number one. Any other guess? Any barriers against the move towards the battery-powered cars?
Well, you'd have the charging problem.
Price is very important.
Oh, the price of the cars.
Right now they're saying like battery power is about 3 times more expensive than the gasoline because of the price of the battery. I mean, once you purchase a vehicle, you can charge electricity, that's fine, but
Sure.
the price of
Yeah.
it, initial price is very expensive. So if you even it out over time, still in comparison with using gasoline-powered cars, battery-powered cars are about 3 times more expensive.
Got it.
And another problem is in order to generate electricity, you still need to produce, in large part, CO2s. Unless you use like renewable energies and so on. So still, electricity is not carbon free.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Even though we are moving away from it.
It's a step in the right direction, but it's not a true solution.
Right.
Understood.
So that's why, as it stands as of now, only 0.1% of the global automobile market is being run by the battery-powered cars. But of course, the rate will increase, and we need to overcome those technological barriers.
Okay, well, we'll listen to a song, and when we come back, maybe I'll ask you about China and India, because those are two huge fossil fuel-burning economies, right?
Right.
All right, first, let's listen to a song. It's the Plain White Tees, Hey There, Delilah. Market today with Dr. Kim Byung-Ju. And now I wanted to, as I mentioned before the break, I wanted to ask you about China and India. So how fast are they moving away from this fossil fuel trend?
Reports are saying, quite surprisingly, even India, I mean, not to mention China. China, we know the country has been moving away fast from their coal-based, economic structure. Because what's the main reason why they're doing that? Because people are really, I like to use the expression, sick and tired of their air quality. And there's a great political pressure there. And Xi Jinping has been very keenly aware of this problem. And China is fast moving away from the coal-based, power generation, and they're really serious about solar power and other kinds of the, renewable energies, such as offshore windmills and so on. So China, clearly, they're moving away. But surprisingly, India is doing the same for similar reasons, for air quality, and people are getting more intolerant about the bad air quality. So they're also trying to move away from the use of coal and oil as well. And Economist magazine says that's the reason why, even if the United States moves away, takes steps backwards from the Paris Agreement of climate cooperation, other countries, including developing countries, will continue to move forward. So therefore, Donald Trump making his decision, as he promised during the campaign, may not be as grim. The consequence may not be as grim as we had initially anticipated. So I thought that was a very interesting, idea.
So what do we see in the so-called post-oil era then? What can we look forward to?
Post-oil era seems to be here already, or fast approaching here. In terms of the percentage of use of oil, the peak was during the 70s when we had about 50% of worldwide energy use based upon oil. Now they say about 30%.
Okay.
So it's decreasing for sure. The peak is over. And now for the post-oil era, they're talking about perhaps these countries where they have been heavily dependent upon oil production for the economy, like Venezuela and Nigeria and so on, they're going to get into trouble. But most of other Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, they're also getting themselves prepared for the post-oil era as well. So It's here to stay, and it's with us.
But the full changes are probably still decades away.
Absolutely. It's not.
guess.
It doesn't happen overnight,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it is the trend that we have to keep our eyes on.
Dr. Kim, thank you very much. Can we have the answer to your quiz question, please?
The answer to the question, the rise in the average temperature of the Earth climate system and its related effects are known as, number 3, global warming.
Yes, but as you said, if we're not careful, it could be global boiling or global burning that replaces that term in the
That's
future,
scary.
right?
Yep.
Yes, and we have a winner for the iRiver Chiso Sagyungi. That is Angun Chunim from Kakao Talk. Congratulations. Enjoy that. Dr. Kim, thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.